Hey everyone, welcome back to The Bored Journalist. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and like my video. Today we're diving into a conversation, which is why do black women get so much criticism about their weight even when they lose it? Because sometimes it feels like they can't win. If they are bigger and they lose it, maybe they lose it and they lose too much. Maybe they lost it and they gained it back. It's always something. So the first person that we're gonna talk about is Oprah. So Oprah is one of the most powerful women on the planet, yet despite all her achievements, her weight has always been a headline. Remember back in 1988 when she rolled out a wagon of 67 pounds of fat on live TV after struggling with a liquid diet? Or when she became a spokesperson for Weight Watchers and people criticized her for every pound she gained or lost? It didn't stop there. Oprah's journey has always been about transparency. She's never shied away from the public eye when it comes to her body. But despite all her honesty, people still found a way to tear her down. When Oprah lost weight, she was accused of selling out. And when she gained it back, she was treated like a failure. So fast forward to the present day, people are still dragging Oprah over her allegedly using Ozempic. Like her body is public property. Now, say what you want about Oprah. As a child, I never cared about her weight. I just saw a black woman in journalism. And so when I started watching her, of course, it was more so like the late 90s, the early 2000s. But she was never big to me. And maybe everybody has an idea of what big is to them. Oprah was not that to me. Like, sure, she may have been plus size, but it wasn't like when I'm sitting and watching My 600-Pound Life. It was nothing like that. I felt like she's always definitely been in proportion to her body. Nothing, I don't know, it just didn't look bad to me, but I'm also not in the public eye. And again, times were different. Back then, black women's bodies were not as celebrated like as it is now, right? You got the white girls going to get their butts done. Other races are going and getting blood clots and losing their lives to go get fake hips and whatnot. And it's just a very different era than what it was back then. For the record, I think Oprah looks great now. I don't think she looks too skinny, but she was also never too fat to me either. So I want to go ahead and get into this clip where she's speaking about that scene in 1988 when she rolled out the wagon of 67 pounds.
There's a place here called Moo and Oink. Moo and Oink. And I say, let's go over to Moo and Oink and see if we can get 67, see what 67 pounds of Moo and Oink fat looks like. And let's put it in a wagon. That's why I did it. At the time, I felt it was important to show it in that way because I'd starved. I'd literally starved for 4 months or 4.5 months and thought, well, everybody's going to want to know how you lost the weight. So you might as well tell them.
A lot of you already know that what I did was I fasted without cheating for a solid 6 weeks. And Mary Kay, who's a producer on the staff here, got married. And I said to them when I first started this liquid protein supervised, medically supervised fast, I said to them when I went in with the counselor that 6 weeks into this, I know I'm going to eat something because I'm given the wedding and paying for the food, so I intend to eat it. And so I did. I cheated, but it was controlled cheating halfway into the diet. But up until 6 weeks, I ate absolutely nothing. I want you to know that whatever diet you choose, and this audience is filled with people who've had great successes, you can do with the help of your family doctor. And if you can believe in yourself and believe that this is the most important thing in your life, as Scott said to us earlier, you can conquer it. Because if I did it, if Scott did it, if Billy did it, you can do it. I thank you very much. Thank you.
Oprah has continued to evolve. I definitely respect the fact that she's made peace with her body is never going to be perfect, but now she's aiming to be strong and to be healthy and to be whole. And people still question her motives when it comes to her own body and losing weight for her well-being. This is a woman who admits to starving herself just to be accepted. And it is odd to me that she got a lot of backlash over using a weight loss aid, whatever you want to call it. And I don't even think it's about health at this point. I think it's about control. I think that with Oprah, I think in her body, people are used to seeing her one way. And then when she changes it, I think for those who identify with her or how she looks or her weight, what have you, it becomes like a discomfort for them. And then it just turns into criticism. And here's the thing with being a celebrity, I don't understand. You have so many different opinions of people telling you what you should do, what you should look like. And it's the weirdest thing to me, especially within the Black community. Like, take, for instance, Michael Jackson. You know, everybody always had a lot of negative things to say about him and his face, but nobody knows what that man went through. And maybe he did those surgeries because maybe he needed to change the molds so he can accept himself in his mind for his self-esteem. You don't know what these celebrities are going through. Like, their looks are picked apart on a daily basis. Like, I mean, I couldn't imagine. And it sucks because when you feel like you finally let these things get to you and you change these things and people are still talking crap, you know, it's unfortunate. But moving along, so you guys heard me give Monique's background in a different video, but if you haven't seen that video, Monique is an Oscar-winning actress, comedian, and at one point, the voice for Big Girl Pride. Remember when she boldly said, "Skinny women are evil"? It was playful, but it also made her stance clear. She was loud, proud, and unapologetically big. Monique has always been gorgeous to me, from her stand-up and the Parkers and all the movies, the video that she did with Anthony Hamilton, what was that called? Sister Big Bones. Like, it was such a cute video. She's always been gorgeous, and I've always loved her confidence. But then, you know, after a while, something changed, and Monique started sharing her workout videos, and she revealed that she had lost over 80 pounds with no surgery, just raw foods and dance workouts. Some people cheered her on. She looked great, and more importantly, she felt healthy. But others, they weren't so supportive. Criticism started flowing, especially from parts of the Black community who felt like she'd abandoned them. And they said things like, "Wait, you're the one telling us to love ourselves as we are. Now you're working out every day. What happened to the movement?" But here's the thing. To me, Monique didn't flip the script. She just clarified it. She's still a plus-size woman. Let's look at this clip with Monique discussing her weight loss with Dr. Oz.
Oh, you look so good. You look so good. Isn't that fabulous?
Thank you.
So amazing.
Why, thank you.
You feeling good?
I feel absolutely amazing. From the inside out. It makes a big difference. It really does.
So I gotta say, I bet every single person watching wants to know, how the heck do you lose 100 pounds?
You know, very carefully.
That's right. You don't want to go too far.
And a lot of hard work. And what I discovered for me is that it wasn't in a pill. It wasn't in a shake. It wasn't in processed foods. It was me getting up in the morning time, putting the work in. Now, it's been about 5 years. Did not happen overnight. Because oftentimes we want it quick. So I had to take my time, and in doing that, I really began to find out who I was, and going through that journey and that process, and just started walking. And when you start walking and you start playing things in your mind, how did I allow myself to get here? And how far do I want to go in life? And you start having those conversations just personally with yourself. I call it my church. And it's really made a huge difference in my life. And now, when I don't work out, my body says, "What's happening? You mad with us? Why aren't you putting in the work?" So I've actually begun to enjoy working out.
So 100 pounds is such a huge milestone. Is it hours and hours a day? How do you actually get the activity in?
You know, it's actually 60 minutes. It's 1 hour a day. Now, do I have a personal trainer? Yes. I don't want anyone to believe that I am Superwoman, baby, and I am doing this by myself. I have on 3 girdles today, but that's okay. That's okay. But to have a personal trainer, and she was an expert, Natasha Swan, she's an expert on training the body. So I had to get with her day in and day out, and I told her what I wanted my body to look like. I said, I want to be shapely. I want to keep my curves. I want to keep my roundness. And she became my surgeon without ever cutting on my body.
So I've seen all this wonderful stuff you've got online about your dancing.
Yes.
So would you mind narrating this for me? This is hilarious. I think it's so well done. Here you are. Look at this. There you are, dancing away.
I'll get it.
Get into the rim. You like that?
Yeah. Oh, yes, indeed. Oh, that's my Beyonce dance right there.
Okay.
Ow.
So you said earlier that this required you to find out who you were.
Yes.
I'd like to know a little bit more about that. Who are you? What was rock bottom? What started this?
You know, I think rock bottom was, and I don't know to call it rock bottom. I want to call it the beginning.
Beginning.
Was the day that my husband and I were in the shower. And when I got out of the shower, I'm standing there and I'm being my sexy self in the mirror. And he said, Mama, how much do you weigh? And I knew the number was 300 pounds, but I couldn't say it. I could not say that out loud. So I said, 266 pounds. And he looked at me and he said, that's too much. And I want you for a lifetime. Well, I've never had anyone say that to me. And I've never had anyone to love me that way. And I gotta tell you, when you first hear someone say your weight, I was embarrassed. I felt ashamed. I felt guilty. But I felt the one thing I've never felt before, and that was an unconditional love with someone saying, I want you for a lifetime. So I went into my closet and I cried because I was saying, how could he say it out loud? But when I came out, I hugged my husband so tight. And I'm like, Daddy, thank you so much, because I want you for a lifetime too. And I did 10 jumping jacks right there, baby.
Started it.
Right
it started
there.
It.
Butt naked.
Yeah. Butt naked.
Everything was moving.
So obviously, for most people who have lost that kind of weight,
Yes.
they knew they had to do it. There was an obstacle that was holding them back from doing it.
You know, I think that from a little girl, 7 years old, when I started getting molested, food was my friend. Food was my friend. It became my lover. It became everything, because food was going to be that one thing that never let me down. It wasn't going to lie to me. It wasn't going to mistreat me. So we developed this amazing relationship. And even now, some of the food is mad with me because it's saying, Monique, you going to leave us like that? Like, how you going to treat us like that?
I think that was such a powerful interview that she did, where she discusses why she overate, you know, which came from being abused as a child. And see, here's the thing where I don't want to go off topic, but her and Oprah do have both of those things in common. And I can understand why you would turn to food in those situations. That being said, unfortunately, when you become a symbol, especially as a Black woman, your body starts to mean something to other people. So when you change it, they take it personally. It feels like rejection instead of a personal choice. Monique's story is a reflection of tension within the Black community, the pressure to either stay the same or risk being seen as a traitor. But I love that Monique is reclaiming her body on her own terms, and I'm celebrating it. I'm not criticizing it. I love that she's showing others about self-love and self-growth. Sometimes self-love means making changes that help us live longer and healthier lives, and if that includes shrinking, so be it. All right, next on the roster is Melissa. Just kidding, I don't know her like that. But it's Missy Elliot, y'all. This is one of the best rappers. I don't know if she's a rapper, a singer, both, but I love this woman. She's so talented. Missy has always been about vision and movement, not just music. She showed up bold and unapologetic, embracing herself and her body as she was. So I definitely remember her first video. My mom couldn't stand it, but as a kid, I just was like, oh, this woman is floating around in a trash bag. Like, It's cool. It's a vibe. Love it. And the thing with Missy is she got moves. Like, she wasn't a stiff, big girl, to reel it back in. So, like I said, she showed up bold and unapologetic, embracing herself and her body as she was. Behind the scenes, Missy was fighting a battle with her health. In 2008, she was diagnosed with Graves' disease, an autoimmune condition that attacked her thyroid. The symptoms were severe: tremors, dizziness, weight fluctuations, and even losing the ability to hold a pen. So Missy made a decision to save her life. She adopted a healthier lifestyle, clean eating, regular exercise, and rest. And yes, she lost weight. And that's when some of the criticism started. Some people said Missy went Hollywood. She changed. She doesn't represent us anymore. So let's look at a few interviews about Missy discussing why she needed to lose weight.
We now return to Lifetime's intimate portrait of Missy Elliot. 2001 was a difficult year for Missy Elliot. After the death of her friend Aaliyah, Missy found her own life was in danger. Although her weight had never been an issue to her success, it did pose a risk to her health, so Missy got serious about getting in shape.
Missy went out and got her a trainer, and she started eating right, and my God.
When I first decided I needed to lose the weight, I was overdoing it. I was going in like 4 times a day, sometimes an hour, sometimes more than an hour. It was like I was obsessed. I would lie in the bed, roll over, and be like, I gotta go back to the gym. Now I go in the morning and I go at night, and I do the Stepmaster, the treadmill, I do the weights, whatever. I still eat McDonald's. I had some McDonald's today, I ain't even gonna lie. But I make up for it, because by the end of the night, I got to go to the gym. I feel a lot better with losing weight. It feels good to be able to go up the steps and not breathe all heavy. I love it.
Missy's new album
to date. Followed up by This Is Not a Test, and 2005's The Cookbook. Missy was hotter than ever. Living under the spotlight, Missy had also noticeably slimmed down. And for a woman who rewrote the book on body image, her sleek new look was met with mixed reviews.
A lot of her fans saw her weight loss as her selling out, because she always advocated for loving yourself for who you were and not changing who you were for anyone else.
But Missy wasn't selling out at all. Privately, she had been dealing with a life-threatening problem.
The doctors literally told her at that point that she was in danger of stroking out, that she was at stroke level with how high her blood pressure was.
This is a doctor telling me, for my health, if you want to stay around for a long time, then you need to drop pounds. And I realized how serious it was, so I went on a serious diet.
Resolved to make a change, Missy hit the gym 4 times a day and shed over 60 pounds.
I lost weight, not because I felt like this is the model look, or this is what an artist supposed to look like. I was comfortable with my size. It's just when your health come into play, that's a whole nother story.
In the spring of 2005, her health took another scary turn.
She had been feeling tired, and her weight would go up and down drastically.
I was eating, but I was just losing weight and losing weight. I had been feeling sick. And the mood swings is up and down, up and down.
It was really, really rough for her because she didn't know what was wrong. That was all kind of a very scary time for her.
Over the next 2 years, Missy's health steadily deteriorated, and her constant fatigue and fluctuating weight soon gave way to bouts of depression. Then, in the fall of 2008, her physical decline reached its breaking point.
One day, I was riding in the car, and I realized that my foot couldn't hold a brake down, and my leg started shaking real bad.
Her hands was just trembling.
Then I started having dizzy spells, bad dizzy spells. And I realized I had a knot in my throat, and it was huge. I knew something was wrong. I was very scared.
So it was here after that incident she found out in 2008 that she had Graves' disease, which is also something that Wendy Williams suffers from. So Missy wasn't chasing aesthetics, she was chasing health. She wasn't trying to fit a mold. Hell, Missy is the mold, if you ask me. She was just trying to live. I think a lot of people don't really understand the death of Aaliyah and what it did to her. I'm sure that makes you think of your own mortality. And I think that just really woke something up inside of Missy that was like, I gotta get it together because I want to be here, you know? All right, and the last person that I want to talk about that I've seen in the news lately is Miss Lizzo. She has become a force in the music industry. She is another one who is confident and she embraces her curves, and she has definitely helped redefine beauty standards now. Lizzo's face card has never declined. Always been gorgeous. But she also gets constant criticism, and I can't understand it now. While I might not be a part of the plus size community, I just will never understand why people want to bring down people who are feeling good about themselves, because sometimes people have underlying health issues and they can't lose weight, you know? And then who's to say that a woman has to be appealing to everybody? I know a lot of us say, you know, we talk about men, but y'all, women are some of the worst critics, the worst bullies. But I love that when Lizzo steps into a room, she owns her body and she encourages others to do the same. And she's been labeled as promoting obesity. And I like that she shares her workout videos. She shares, you know, the healthy food that she makes and drinks. And I think all of that is amazing. And how she's all of a sudden abandoning the body positivity movement. How? Like, would you rather her shove a cheeseburger down her throat? I don't understand what she's doing wrong. So what is it that she's supposed to be celebrated for? Is it her confidence? Why is her being healthy making her a sellout? And with all of these women, right, they're not saying that they're trying to be a size 00. So why is it looked at as they're selling out? I'm happy for Lizzo that she's lost weight. Again, she's one with the moves. Okay, she is not a stiff big girl, and I love it. Like, I was kind of with everyone else whenever Ari Spears mocked her appearance and said that she looked like a plate of mashed potatoes. It was just like, really? She looks like a plate of mashed potatoes. So what do you look like? And he tried to cover it up and say that he has swag. But anyway, I just want to share this last clip with you guys from ET about Lizzo and her progress.
I was gonna bump like this.
I'm just me. The world is ready for self-love.
After 2 years of strength training, calorie counting, and even a joke acknowledging all the fans who think she's on Ozempic, Lizzo shared she's dropped 16% body fat and has met her weight loss goal, a number she hasn't seen on the scale since 2014.
Let this be a reminder that you can do anything you set your mind to. You're special.
The proud post comes 3 months after the singer's weight loss drug Halloween costume, inspired by South Park.
I controlled all my cravings to be thinner with Lizzo.
It's Lizzo. Even at the end of my weight loss journey, I'm not going to be considered thin by any means.
Lizzo's always been a champion for embracing one's curves. Her reality competition show, Watch Out for the Big Girls, earned her an Emmy Award.
So why do Black women get so much criticism about their weight? I assume it's because we live at the intersection of racism, sexism, and fat phobia. Our bodies are always too much, too loud, too thick, too unapologetic. And when we change, even for our health, people act like we've betrayed them. But here's the truth. We don't owe anybody shit, okay? Not for a movement, not for representation, not for anyone's comforts. Whether we're thick, slim, in between, or transforming, our worth doesn't change. You deserve peace. And that peace should never come second to someone else's expectations. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment below with your thoughts. See y'all next time.